Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to round 2 of the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series, brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports. Tonight we're at Nashville Super Speedway for 110 laps. Last week we saw Rogue Sim Sports drivers Craig Roffey and Rick Vincent with a first place and third place finish at Texas, with Chris Bleakley finishing in second. Will we see them tonight on the podium, or will we have some new contenders? Find out tonight. We just getting some qualifying over at the moment, so once we finish there, we'll be back with some results. But we got a guest in the booth tonight. We've got none other than Aaron Dillon joining us in the booth, so we might get him on comms a little bit later as the night goes through. But, good to have Aaron in the booth with us tonight. And we've got our man Kobe Jordan behind the cameras. Got another 3 minutes of qualifying, so we'll get through the qualifying, but to give you a rundown on tonight's session. So we're at Nashville Super Speedway. We've got 110 laps. The track length's 1.3 miles or 2.14 kilometers. And it's a fixed setup. The afternoon weather realistic. Got a fuel of 70% with 4 tyre sets tonight. No fast repairs. And we'll see what happens in Nashville tonight. But we've just got a bit of a run through on our standings from last week. So we got those up there for you. So as mentioned, Craig Roffey, our race leader and race winner for Texas last week. Chris Bleakley and Rick Vincent. Troy Davidson and Cade Donnelly were our top 5. Chris Finlay, Tony Roffey, Tyler Stevenson from Texas, and Scott McClintock and Michael Latta were our top 10. So that's our current top 10 sittings, but just looking at the results so far from qualifying, not everyone's done a lap time yet, but looks like Craig Roffey's the man to beat once again, looking to take pole position for the second week in a row. Got Scott McClintock up there with quite a fast lap as well, sitting in P2 at the moment. Blake Urquhart, new to the series, didn't race last week, and he's sitting in third, with Adam and Malone up in fourth. So Adam will be wanting to have a pretty good run tonight. It was going quite well last week at Texas, but just had a little bit of an incident there with Wade Sheedy towards the end of the race. So Adam will want to be locking in a good result tonight. We've just got another minute to go, and we still have about 5 or 6 drivers yet to set a time. So we'll let them finish off, and we'll go to a quick break, and we will come back with the results and the grid. Alrighty, welcome back everyone, and thank you for everyone at home tuning in tonight for round 2 of the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulator OzOval V8 Supercar Series. So we've got the results in, the drivers are gridding up, and we'll run through our grid for you. So Gary Wellman has taken the pole position away from Craig Roffey. So Gary not having a strong start in round 1, but he's looking to get up there and get amongst it this week. So Gary Wellman taking the pole position, followed by Craig Roffey alongside on the front row. Scott McClintock starting out of 3 with Blake Urquhart in 4th. Third row, Adam Malone and Perry Anastakis. 4th row, Cade Donnelly and Chris Bleakley. 5th row, Peter Matson and Rick Vincent. That's your top 10. Followed by Craig Roffey and Todd Maxfield on the 6th row.
So we've got Rick Sanchez and Mark Smith in 13th and 14th, Tyler Stevenson, Nick Walsh, and then we've got Chris Finlay rounding out the last time in 17th. Looks like a few didn't put down a time there.
That's all right. We'll still grid up with those. So Derek Jacobs alongside in 18th. Andy Barber 19th with Troy Mortensen 20th. And Steve Hoppert and Shannon Wright rounding out your field. Alrighty, so just making our way out for our pace lap. And you got any predictions tonight, Aaron, on how you think the race might go?
Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty, conservative race. There might be a few cautions early on, looking at practice, but I think it'll be, just same as it usually goes. Roffey probably in the top 5, same with Gary. Chris being the silent assassin coming through later on.
Yeah, right. Well, we might have to keep an eye on those Rogue Sim Sport guys. So Craig Roffey's obviously a contender, front row, starting again tonight. So 2 weeks in a row he's been on the front row and one last week. But, pace car's coming off and we're about to drop the green.
See how it goes.
All right, Wellman taking us off, followed by Craig Roffey on the outside. And we are green, 110 laps at Nashville Superspeedway. Into turn 1, Craig Roffey already doing a bit of a switchback, looking for the inside. Wellman just running up high, almost into the wall. It's a little bit of a door rub going on here. And Craig Roffey wasting no time wanting to take that race lead early on. Just letting everyone settle in, so we're sort of single file back to probably about the 9th car. A little bit of a sideways action there. Looked like maybe Chris Bleakley just into turn 1, but he's managed to hold on to that. We've got a bit of a angle.
I think.
Yeah, just go back. We'll have a look at that. So just caught that in the background. We'll have a look at a replay on that one.
Staying green at the moment, by the looks of it.
Yeah, looks like everything's happened there. So I'm not sure who that was. I might get that in my ear, but
No, it comes out now.
we've got a road car. Well, we've got another caution coming out now as well. So might just go back to live and we'll have a look at the next caution that actually brought the yellow flag out. So just got a word in the air that Chris Bleakley's ended up with a meatball, so not too sure what's happened here. We'll try and catch up. So a little bit of action up there. That looks like Blake Urquhart in the white and blue car there. Look, so you had Wellman and Roffey at the front there. It looks like Scott McClintock coming in hot and just got the back corner of Blake Urquhart there. And around she went. A couple of drivers trying to take some evasive action there. Kate Donnelly managed to avoid everyone after doing a 180. But, looks like there'll be a couple of cars needing a bit of repair after that. And an early pit stop there for Craig Roffey as well, deciding to just duck into pit lane, leaving Wellman out the front. Looks like Malone into pit lane as well. Well, that was a eventful start there, Aaron.
Yeah, I missed a lot of that. I can't see it at the moment on my screen, so I've got to get that set up a little bit better.
Yeah, that's all right. But, yeah, didn't pick we'd have a caution this early in the race, but we sort of 3-4 laps into 110, and yeah, first caution for the night. So, anyways, we'll have a look at how we're standing at the moment. So, the race leader Gary Wellman with Scott McClintock up into second. We've got Perry Anastakis up into third place, starting out of sixth. Craig Roffey just dropping back with that pit stop. So maybe just opting for a little bit of a different strategy to get an extra few laps of fuel in the tank so he can try and offset that in the back end of the race.
He's always good at the strategy, old Craig.
Yeah, it looks like Scott McClintock there coming into pit lane as well. So might just see if he's got any damage perhaps on the right front, but I don't think he'd have too much. We'll get through this and we'll be back green racing. So I might just go to a quick ad break and we'll come back. Alrighty, we are back and pace car lights are out, so about to go green again for round 2 at Nashville Super Speedway. Cool. Pace cars off and Gary Wellman about to take the green flag for the second time tonight after our first caution. Lap 6 and we are back underway. So we got Wellman with Harry Anastakis next to him, Peter Matson up to third, Rick Vincent in fourth, and Andy Barber in your top 5. A little bit of a change up there in our standings after that first caution. Good to see a few extra names up the front there. What we got here on the socials? So jump over to the socials tonight. We'll give a shout out to a few people. So we've got Sarah Grace who's tuning in tonight and cheering on Craig Roffey along with Shane Roffey who's supporting the whole team there. Troy Mortensen giving himself a shout out while he's driving. We'll give a shout out back to that Rogue team. So Rogue Sim Sports looks like they got a sponsor of MD Sports as well. So they've got their sponsors watching tonight as well. So hopefully they'll have a good race there. Back to our race. So we got Gary Wellman still out the front. Got a nice little gap there over Perry Anastakis. A little bit of a gap there. Looks like Peter Matson's on the move here, getting up a bit. alongside Rick Vincent. Oh, a little bit of contact there in the corner with Rick Vincent and Peter Matson there. A bit of a friendly door rub there to say they're here. It looks like Rick Vincent just taking over P3 now. Back a little bit. So you got Andy Barber there off the back there of this pack with Rick Sanchez. A little bit of a battle there. Andy Barber just made the move. Got that done. Looks like that Mish's Motorsport car's looking pretty quick tonight for Andy. Just on the high side there. Last week we talked about the tyre compound as well, so drivers had a wet or dry tyre option. Tonight's track was 100% humidity, so I don't know if that'll come into effect on a dry or wet tyre tonight, so we'll have to get a little bit of insight from the drivers later in the race on what's working best for everyone. Looks like Todd Maxfield is on a wet tyre, and Todd is currently sitting in 12th there, yeah. One of the sim boys running a wet tyre, so a little bit of a different strategy there. Sort of midfield sitting in the pack.
Toddy seems to be one of those drivers. He'll take the chance. He'll take the gamble and see how it goes.
Yeah, always good to see a different strategy. Something might work and might get an edge over the whole field. Still got Wellman leading the way. Looks like Parry's closed that gap up a little bit with Rick Vincent right on his heels, and then a little bit of a gap back to Andy Barber and Peter Matson. So your top 5 there, just a break away from the 6th spot of Adam Malone. Looks like they got a couple of seconds there. Andy will be wanting to close up that gap onto the back of Rick Vincent there, so you can just see that gap there. So coming into the corner there, we'll try and use that draft, get a little bit of a push from Peter Matson to try and close up that gap, join the front of this race. Looks like Chris Bleakley there just coming out of pit lane as well, but we're on board here with Peter Matson, so go for a lap around. Oh, bit of a loose rear there from Parry Anastakis there. Just managed to come off the track and save that one and linked back on the back of Peter Matson there. So we'll just check that in the replay. What happened? Looks like just run a little bit too close to that yellow line and the rear stepped out of him. So good car control there. Managed to save that and rejoin on the back of this pack, but again that's given Gary Wellman a bit of a extra gap there. Oh, bit of contact there from Andy Barber in the wall as well, so now he's joining the back of this pack. Lap 17 now, lap 18. We've just rolled over of 110 laps here at Nashville Superspeedway. Broadcast brought to you tonight by our sponsors of Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated, and broadcast on the Inside Lane Productions Network and Quasi Esports.
We can see the top 5 there just running away a little bit. There's a few seconds back to 6th place, but there's a good battle in that group too.
Yeah, a few gaps have come out in that top 5 pack, so the just a little bit of an incident here and there, opened up a few gaps. Looks like Wellman's coming around to lap our first car. I'll just see if we can find who that might be. It's Chris Bleakley, I think. So he's a few laps down on the pace. So yeah, Meatball on that car. So good to see he's back out and circulating, but might be a race done for him after a strong finish last week, coming home in second. But he'll be turning a few laps, hoping for a caution.
Good battle going back here in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
There, we'll have a bit of a look at that. So you got Craig Roffey at the front of this pack with Tyler Stevenson, Adam Malone, Chris Finlay, Kate Donnelly in there, Nicholas Walsh. So Nicholas back on track after blowing his engine last week. So his team's been hard at work rebuilding that engine to get him out tonight. Wellman still leading the way, so lap 22 now of 110. The gap to Rick Vincent slowly closing up a little bit, just under half a second there. So it looks like Rick Vincent's trying to close that gap. I'm just going to go to a replay. We got our man Steve Hoppett there. On track, so not too sure what's happened there. A little bit of a slowdown. Looks like he's almost hit the wall there. Yeah, got up into the dirty marbles up on the high side there. A lot of rubbish on the track up there, so just luckily kept that off the wall. But, here we are with our race leader, Wellman.
I don't know how fuel strategy is going to play into this, but Gary being out the front there, he's going to be burning a lot more fuel than anybody else. So.
Yeah, definitely looks like Rick's now on the back of Gary there, so he's closed that to 0.2 of a second there. So he's on the charge. Looks like he wants to try and take over the lead of this race. We'll be watching for that move in the next lap or two, see if he can get that done. Just making our way over the start-finish line now. Looking for that inside. Getting a bit close there. Ooh. Sure, he won't want to be making that contact on that left rear of Wellman, sorry. But, Wellman just moving up high a little bit, and Rick able to get down the inside on him. And we will have a new race leader, Rick Vincent. Wellman getting a little bit loose there. Got right up behind Rick, got a little bit loose in the rear, but managed to save that. But that's now opened the door to Parry Anastakis. So Parry up the inside, and we have Rogue Sim Sports 1 and 2. Sim Boys, Wellman in third. A little bit of action coming at the front of this pack.
I don't know. Wonder if Gary's cooked his tyres. Wonder if these fourth place are going to catch up. It'll be interesting to see if they make some time on these front trees in the next few laps.
Let's go back. So Wellman's last lap time was a 32.6, and Andy Barber a 32.2. So looks like Andy's got some pretty good pace. Peter Madsen a 32.1 pushing Andy. So Wellman a 32.0 that time around. And Andy Barber a 32.1. So looks like there's still a little bit of pace out the front of those guys. We'll see if they can close that gap as the race goes, though. Just in the background, you've got Craig Roffey now coming up on the back of Peter Madsen. So Craig Roffey's broke away from that pack, and he is up in behind Peter Madsen now. So Craig, hopefully with that pace that Craig's got, he's going to want to try and close this gap. A couple of boys there.
Craig's pretty clever. He's gonna, if he goes green the whole race, he wants to be within 3 to 4 seconds of the leaders in the last 15 or so laps.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter where we are now. We've still got another
A lot to go.
80 odd laps to go. So yeah, anything can happen in that time. Got Blake Urquhart there, Chris Bleakley, and one of the Rogue Sim Sports cars there. Tony Roffey in the mix of that, just there. Tony sitting in 12th, so having a little bit of a battle there with Blake Urquhart for position. Like Blake getting a bit of a good run off that high side line. Looks like he's carrying a fair bit of pace on that high side. Getting that job done on Tony Roffey. Looks like back up to Andy Barber, Craig Roffey. Just coming around a lapped car there. Looks like Cade Donnelly, Adam Malone now catching up on the back of them as well. So looks like this lead pack's actually slowed down a bit. 39.9. A bit of a incident there. Bit of door banging and rubbing walls. We've got a new race leader as well. So Pariana Starks has taken the lead of this race. Perry's going to lead a couple of laps here. Looks like we might be seeing our pit stops coming into play soon. So lap 35 of 110. We'll have to see who's going to jump the gun here. And Craig Roffey there, as you can see, pitted early on that caution. So Craig's going to have a few more laps in the tank, so he'll be able to get in, get out, and run a few more laps as well. So hopefully that'll help him catch up with the pace he's got. He's up into 4th now. So Craig's definitely got a bit of pace in the car, running a 31.9. So this lead pack's in the 32.0. So Craig's definitely on a charge. Looks like Todd Maxfield in the pits just made that change from wet to dry tyre. So obviously the wet's not doing too good for him tonight. Looks like Todd also copped a black flag, so just getting the word through. So he's now 4 laps down, so black flag in his pit stop. That's not going to help him out very much. So definitely a couple of guys now that'll be banking on a caution to try and get a lap or two back. Looks like Peter Matson's made a pit stop as well. So Peter was up and around the top 5. So he's made a pit stop. One of the first from our top positions to stop. And we have a car that is almost on fire. So it's going to go to a replay here and have a look. Take a look. So looks like that was Blake Urquhart into Troy Mortensen. So smashed the wheel right off that front, and he hit the wall pretty hard. So no yellow out, but bumper's gone. That front right's going to be a big mess as well. So he managed to roll that off the track, leaving a bit of debris behind. But limped that car back to the pit lane, and luckily, no yellow flag there, because that would have really helped. So you can see that front right turned right in. It's going to be a big fix on that car now. I think that could be race done for Troy tonight. So we'll see if he parks that, or if the crew can get that car into a bit of a better state and back out on the track for a few more laps. Top 3 here. So we've still got Parry Anastakis with Rick Vincent and Gary Wellman leading the way. Rick Vincent down the inside there, just taking back the race lead. And Blake Urquhart copping a black flag out of that, so that could be a drive-through penalty maybe, incident points. We're seeing our pit stops come through shortly, I think. We're at lap 43 now of 110, so almost to that 50 mark. I don't know if they'll make 50 laps, some of these guys. So that's 70% fuel load, so we'll see how we go. We might have another special guest coming into the booth tonight. Do we have a copy, Mr. Carl Withy?
Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Aaron. Good evening, Kobe. Good evening, everybody. How are we going tonight?
Good, Carl.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good here. I saw you weren't having the best of days either, but hopefully you're feeling better.
Yeah, up and round and walking and ready to jump on in and watch some fantastic V8 racing here at Nashville. That's
always good, and anyone to take over the mic from me is always a pleasure to be in the booth.
Carl's voice is always a welcome sound.
Oh, don't big me up too much. You'll disappoint the audience.
That's all right. So you had much run of these new supercars, Carl, or you dabbled in a little bit to see how they are?
Well, not on the oval side of things. So I've been driving them a bit on their true natured homes, and they really are a different beast compared to the old one. Very, very powerful, as we just see Gary Wellman just pulling it into the lane here for a green flag stop. So yeah, very different beast to the old car, and they really are an absolute monster to drive these things.
Yeah, well, bit of mixed reviews on the oval side here, so some liking them, some still deciding if they like them or not. So race 2 here at Nashville Super Speedway. So we've got Wellman, as you just said, in pit lane. So we've still got Rick Vincent and Parry Anastakis out the front. So they'll be probably coming down pit road soon. This will give Craig Roffey that lead when his teammates take the pit lane. just stopping in that caution early on lap 5. So he'll have a few more laps in the tank to go a bit longer, which might help him out towards the end. So a couple of meatballs coming through on the comms. So Andy Barber a meatball, and Andy was up in the top 5 as well at one point, so that hasn't helped him. And Tyler Stevenson as well, copping a meatball. So maybe a bit of tyre wear on Nashville tonight. I think the guys might be burning a bit of rubber and copping meatballs for blown tyres tonight.
Not a huge surprise, Nashville. It is a bit of a tyre killer circuit. The concrete surface really does chew things up. And we've got number 5, Rick Sanchez, coming in right now to the lane, pulling it in, and another driver that has got a meatball flag next to their name. So tyres obviously being a thing you've got to watch out for, and they're going to have to look out for this in the final run to the flag. I'm just going back to see if I can spot what happened to the number 5 and see which tyre it is that lets go.
I probably would say the right front of my guess, but you might be able to work that one out a bit better.
Well, I can actually say it wasn't a tyre on Sanchez. He blew an engine going into turns 3 and 4, just downshifted a little bit too eagerly, and that is the end of that Chevy engine tonight.
We've just done a replay on that, and we'll just have a look at the damage that's just happened to his car. So there it goes, bang. So saw the big puff of smoke out the back of his car, and unfortunately it was just coming onto the back straight, so we might have had to have turn 3 there. Back to 3rd gear. Ooh.
Double shift down, it looks like, and that will absolutely chew an engine up, especially at those speeds. Got to be really careful with the shifts on these things. You do have to blip the engine to get it shifting, and you can very easily miss shift in this car, I've found. So looks like that might have been what's happened.
Yeah, we saw that from Nicholas Walsh last week at Texas. He did a motor in as well, and just downshifted an extra gear and the engine went bang. So
got Scotty McClintock in the lane at the moment, I believe. And Shannon Wright as well, just pulling it into the lane too. So pit stops are happening in dribs and drabs at the moment. We're getting them coming through as the fuel starts to run down and those tyres start to wear out as well. So really crucial to get this timing right. You don't want to try and get it so you've got enough to, well, not get to the end, but give yourself a really nice short splash and dash at the end, or a little run where you sort of can get the speed of those tyres worked in as well. I think we're going to be seeing a few cars coming in, like Rick Vincent here, pulling it into the lane in the 94.
It looks like Parian Stark is following him in. A little bit of a sideways lock up there, but I think he should have pulled that up all right. And that's given Craig Roffey now the lead of this race. So what do we get? 54 laps to a tank. So almost halfway in our race, not quite, to a tank. So if these guys can make this last, they might be able to get to the finish. We know Craig Roffey will probably be laughing now with that early pit stop. He should be able to do one stop and make it to the finish and won't have to do any fuel saving.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to make about 56, 55 laps, and so it might just be that little bit tantalisingly not enough to get them just across the line. They might have to just lift and coast a little bit, just do a bit of extra fuel saving, and that could cost them a bit of time. Hopefully, though, they'll have it all worked out. It's all going to be how far Craig Roffey can go with that extra little stop. If we can get a rough idea of that, then I think we'll be able to work out how everybody will get to the end.
Yeah, so Craig Roffey, our new race leader, after starting on the front row and just dropping back a little bit. He's back at the front of this race with Adam Malone now up into second, starting out of P5. Got Tony Roffey in P3, who started in 11th, with Mark Smith in 14th, up to 4th. So some big movers sort of up into the top of this race now. A few drivers. We've only got 4 cars on the lead of this race at the moment, but still a couple of these guys needing to make that extra pit stop now. So they'll be coming in probably in the next 2 or 3 laps, and then we'll be back onto our lead lap probably for the top 10, I'd say.
Craig Roffey pulling it into the lane here, the leader coming into the lane now and going to be topping it up with Go Juice. So how does he do getting in the lane? Nice early entry there, very, very cautiously into the lane, not running it right to the ragged edge there. That's let the car behind him, Adam Malone, actually catch up a little bit there. Malone was a bit more aggressive coming into the lane entry. Troy Roffey in the lane as well. Mark Smith now out on track. One of those last cars to have stopped. Him, Blake Urquhart, I believe. Those two need to make another stop here. They may have made their stops under that caution.
Alrighty, well, we'll let these last few cars transition on the pit stops, and we'll go to an ad break, and then we'll come back as the race will have settled out a bit, and we'll see where everyone's standing.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Alrighty, we are back at Nashville Super Speedway. Thanks for joining back. And round 2 of the Doogie Mobile Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series. We are here on Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, hit that like button and give a bit of love to the stream. So looks like Blake Urquhart making his way down pit lane now, but had a black flag, possibly tyres blowing again. So Nashville's been pretty ruthless tonight on the rubber of these V8 supercars.
Yeah, I just took a look at Urquhart and couldn't see any tyre deflation. There's no obvious sort of reason. It might be accumulated damage, maybe. He's just got meatball for needing a required repair. I also got Tony Roffey. It looks like he's got himself a penalty from the pit lane too. So he's going to be finding himself coming into the lane and needing to get that penalty served as well. So quite a few drivers on, well, having a bit of a rough night out here. It's not been the easiest one for sure. Tolly Maxfield as well in the 16, another driver with the meatball. It looks like he's parked that car up and has pulled it behind the wall.
Yeah.
Mark Smith, our leader, coming into the lane.
Looks like Rick Sanchez might have hung up the race gloves as well. Checker flag showing next to him, so I think he might be done for the night. But back to our race lead at the moment. So we've got Craig Roffey out in the front, followed by Gary Wellman trying to close that gap. Almost 2.5 second gap from Craig Roffey back to Wellman. Kate Donnelly up into 3rd place now, with Perry Anastakis 4th and Adam Malone in 5th.
Yeah, I'm just going back to check on the Rick Sanchez one. Sounds like there was a bit of contact between Sanchez and possibly Donnelly. Just going back to see what's actually happened there, so give me as I try and track this one.
Alrighty, we'll wait to see what Carl can come up with there as he looks in the background. Looks like Craig Roffey now just coming around to lap Peter Matson there. So our top 12 currently on the lead lap. Peter Matson already a lap down. So that's going to put him back 2 laps now. Todd Maxfield with a black flag. Looks like he actually disconnected from the server and come back. So maybe some troubles there tonight.
I can't see anything from Sanchez there. I was just going off the radios and nothing too obvious there from what I could see. So not sure actually what happened to that car.
Don't know. Sometimes, as Kobe said in the background there, it gets a bit of a false report maybe on an incident or something that happens, and
I think we've got something there between Vincent and Kay Donnelly. So I found what the drivers were chatting about. Rick Vincent and Kay Donnelly just coming together on lap 63, I believe it was. In contact there for the 2nd place runner, and Rick Vincent, who currently down in 10th position. Bit of contact between those 2 cars, just on the back straight. We'll see if Kobe can find that one.
Got that replay up there. So Kay Donnelly up the inside there, Rick Vincent on the outside. Looks all right, a little bit of a bump there. So just getting into that rear quarter and sending Rick for a spin.
Yeah, big slide across the grass, and that's going to be a big impact into the wall, and that is going to be the, effectively a troublesome pit stop for Vincent. He's got back out on the track, keeping up with the car, not looking to be struggling too much, still on the lead lap for the number 94, but there's a lot of rear damage on that car, and that's not going to be helping. As we see the onboard replay here, and quite a lot of damage to the back of that 94.
Yeah, on board it didn't look like it was too big of a hit, but outside it would have certainly done a little bit of damage. Kay Donnelly's found his way up to P2 after that incident, so looks like he's got almost a 4.5 second gap to Craig Roffey. So Craig Roffey's stretching his legs out the front here. So he's going to make a bit of work for Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman to try and catch him. Those Sim boys, they'll be trying to work together, trying to give each other a bit of a hand and try and close that gap.
And we've got another driver having an issue with the gears, Toddy Maxfield in the 16. Another driver to go down a gear instead of going up a gear, and has blown the engine in that Simboys entry. So it's definitely catching a few drivers out tonight.
Definitely hasn't been a night for Todd Maxfield. He having all sorts of problems. So hopefully he can get those sorted for next week.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising to see so many people doing the wrong shifting pattern and just getting down a gear instead of up a gear and getting forward out. We see it occasionally, and it does happen to all of us, especially if we've got a little bit of rig rust in us. Haven't driven for a few weeks, but usually that happens at the start of the race, not sort of in the middle of the race. It's one of those things that you usually don't get caught out too often in the midst of a race with. But we have seen it a few times tonight. Hopefully, no more times this evening. Up front, it is Craig Roffey with about a 5-second lead over Wellman, Donnelly, Malone and Anastakis at the moment.
Just on board here at the moment, so I think that might have been Craig Roffey. So just looking out the back of the car now. Just in behind him, he's got Mark Smith there. So Mark Smith is sitting back in 12th, the first car a lap down. So Mark will be trying to get that lead lap back, but obviously not wanting to have too much impact to Craig's race. He is sitting in that lucky dog position if a caution does come out, but looks like he just managed to get around there on Craig Roffey. So getting his lap back.
Yeah, power of fresh tyres there for Mark Smith. Remember, he stopped very late, so he was the last person to make a stop. So he's going to be able to get a lot of his time back using those fresh tyres to his advantage. Should have a bit more race pace now. And also doesn't have to stop again, obviously. A lot of the other cars in this field, there's a question mark if they can make it to the checkered flag on the fuel they've got.
Well, I don't think that'll be a problem for Craig Roffey out the front. It could be a question for Gary Wellman and Kate Donnelly chasing. So they could be in a little bit of trouble maybe in the back end of this race if it goes green to finish. But Adam Malone should be sitting pretty good there in P4 as well. Looks like Andy Barber coming into pit lane there.
As they go through, and well, plenty of action out here at the moment as it stands, and we're seeing quite a few cars just sort of settling in now. It's getting yourself settled into this race now, just getting yourself sort of focused. One of the big things about Nashville is you just got to keep that concentration up. It's a very fast track, but it's a place that will cost you if you just go up on the high line a little bit, get on the marbles. You'll find yourself very quickly finding a wall.
Yeah, you can see there around the corners a lot of marbles up on that high side. There's another shot there, so definitely not the race line you want to be on. So sort of sitting on that low line to mid line, so enough room for the two cars. You wouldn't want to make it three wide.
Yeah, even just that little dab of brakes in the corner, and we've got the windscreen wipers on as well. Just because the marbles are probably so bad, it feels like it's raining out there. So the windscreen wipers are not because of rain, just trying to get rid of some of those marbles, maybe.
Yeah, that's the first. I don't think I've seen that yet. So still waiting for that addition of rain to come. But, it was good to see the mechanics working and the windscreen wiper working.
Yeah, it's going to be carnage when they bring that to short tracks and let us NASCAR boys out on the track in a wet condition. Oh boy, that could be some interesting stuff. But for now, most people are safe. They're not going to see the wet stuff on an oval, especially something this size. But yeah, some of the short tracks now, it is becoming more and more of a thing to race in the slippery, wet stuff that we get occasionally in this country.
I'm just going to a replay here, so I think that might be Steve Hoppert, maybe, looking at that car. It is, so not sure what's happened here. We'll take a look.
Just having a bit of a snap coming out the corner there. Just had to collect it up, it looks like. And that's the thing about this place, is it is so easy to catch you out. You have a lap and a lap and a lap and everything's the same, and then all of a sudden you will sort of go into the corner and find the car just snapping randomly in the wrong direction, and find yourself just cutting down the apron. As soon as you do that, it's going to drag you down and you're going to have problems. Oh, big look up for Shannon Wright. Looks like trying to get into the pit lane and did not get down on the apron quick enough, overshot the box, and instead of carrying on has had to pull it into the lane and go just inside the cone. So should just about get away with that without a penalty, but would have probably been quicker just to release the brake and carry on for another lap if they had the fuel on board.
Don't know about cutting the grass there. Don't know if that would give them a penalty or not, but Looks like Wellman and Donnelly into pit lane as well behind him. So they couldn't make it to the finish. So that's given Perry Anastakis second place and Adam Malone third now. Then you got Tyler Stevenson up into fourth with Nicholas Walsh in fifth. So good run from those boys tonight, getting up there. Christopher Finlay into sixth.
Well, the good news for Shannon Wright is no penalty there. Did it just before the cone, so if you do it, if you manage to get it in before the cone, you're kind of safe. Managed to do that and get it sort of weaved in there, but as I said, usually better off just releasing the brake and going for another lap round, because that will cost you a lot more time than you would have wanted. So if the fuel was in there, probably just carry on rather than snap it in there, because also it can sometimes bring out the caution flag too. So you've got to be super careful with that kind of thing. Very easy to really have things go very wrong on the grass as well, because these cars do not like the green stuff.
Well, Nashville needs the lawns mowed once in a while. It's not myself this time, so...
Yeah, without us out on the track, I mean, nobody's mowing the lawns, so it's going to be terrible for the grass.
Looks like Adam Malone's moved his way up into P2 now, just taking that away from Harry Anastakis. 6-second gap now to Craig Roffey, so doesn't look like Craig's going to be slowing down. He's going to be wanting to go to finish, and I think he's got the fuel to do it, so he won't be lifting off too much besides the corners.
Yeah, I think Roffey, Malone, they're going to be pretty good on fuel. Perry Anastakis, it's a little bit tighter for sure. Same for Nicholas Walsh and Rick Vincent. Mark Smith is pretty good to get to the end though. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do here as we see the car of Troy Morrison back out on track after that huge wreck earlier on.
Yeah, good to see that car's back out. Probably won't have the pace, but yeah, good to turn a few more laps and get a bit of a feel for the car for this week. So the pit crew done a bit of work on that and got that fixed up so he can get back out.
Yeah, it's good to get those laps under your belt and just get yourself back out there, because it can give you some vital experience for next season or for upcoming races, and just build up the confidence as well. Just get yourself back in the game and not retire the race with a car that is no longer functioning. So it's always good to get back out on the track, get some laps underneath your belt and get yourself racing once more. Got to say, at the moment though, it's looking good for this man Craig Roffey up the front. About a 6-second gap back to Adam Malone at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do and if they can make it to the end on fuel. I'm pretty sure these guys can. But the question is for Perry Anastakis at the moment, and Tyler Stevens too, as well as Nicholas Walsh and Rick Vincent. They're all in that sort of area where they're very good, going to be very tight on fuel. I imagine they're going to be running around, just giving that clutch a little bit of a tickle in the corners, just lifting off a little bit early as well, just trying to save every little drop of gas in that tank.
Yeah, it just looks like Adam Malone and Perry Anastakis just stuck in a little bit of traffic at the moment, so it's not going to help in closing that gap to Craig Roffey at the moment, having to navigate these cars. So Cade and Wellman in that pack there, so they'll be fueled to finish, and maybe some fresher tyres as well. So we'll see if they can maybe close that gap, maybe get back on that lead lap. I think they might be one down after that extra stop.
That's going to be the big thing as Tyler Stevens brings it into the pit lane. Those fresh tyres could be an advantage, because they'll be about a second to 3/4 of a second faster than the leader on those fresh boots. They might be able to close the gap, but with only 19 laps remaining, they're going to really need to push hard with a 31-second lap or 32-second lap. You know, they don't have enough time to make it to catch the leader, but they can catch some of the other people in the pack maybe.
That was a drive through, and he's just lit up the rear as well, so not a good way to leave pit lane either after a drive-through penalty.
No, that's maybe a bit of annoyance from the drive-through as well, and just being super annoyed. I was just wondering about that because it's been a while since I stopped for fuel, and Stevenson coming in again now. I wonder if that was missing pit box. I wonder if Stevenson missed his pit box there because it just seemed like just getting on the gas a bit too early because the fuel would have been pretty much out. So very much a rough one there for the 98. That's going to be a painful stop indeed, especially with that mistake showing up on the broadcast.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he missed his stop. He drove through pit lane and then he come back in again. So, yeah, not too sure on that one. But he was sitting up in P4, P5 there. So, not doesn't help his race night now. 2 laps down.
Yeah, unfortunately our software doesn't sort of show us previous penalties very easily, so looking that kind of stuff up is a bit difficult during the race, so we won't know really until possibly afterwards. But we do have a race going on up at the front. It is Craig Roffey in the lead, and well, Craig Roffey has been on an absolute streak at the moment, and he's one of those drivers that is always strong and hard to beat when he's on his game. Very much one of the faster drivers in Australia at the moment.
In saying that, though, Adam Malone's taken a whole second out of Roffey, so Adam's on the charge. He's got Perry Anastakis in behind him, who's also Craig Roffey's teammate, so he's given the enemy a bit of a push there, so maybe he can try and make a move on Adam towards the last few laps to move himself up into P2, but looks like they're on a little bit of a charge, and it looks like they're coming up to some more traffic though.
As we see Scotty McClintock coming in to the lane for the final stop, hopefully for tonight's race. Coming in for a bit of a splash and dash, get a bit of fuel in the car and get it to the end. As they continue pacing on with 14 laps to go here at Nashville. We are very quickly coming to the end of festivities for tonight's race.
Yeah, for sure. This race has gone pretty quick, even though we had a caution early on. So haven't had much of a break here, but we'll get the rest of this race underway and finished, and then we'll go to an ad break before we have the results. But yeah, 14 laps to go now. Craig Roffey still leading this race. Adam Malone in second, Perry Anastakis third, Nicholas Walsh up into fourth. So good to see Nicholas up in fourth tonight after last week's engine failure. So must have rebuilt a pretty good engine on that car to be up in fourth, with Rick Vincent in fifth.
I wonder if Kobe can find us just a little instant on track between Peter Matson and Gary Wellman. Matson just slow out the corner, just caught Gary Wellman by surprise, and it's just ended up with Peter Matson just having a bit of a trip across the infield and doing a little bit of grass mowing. Luckily, just a slight tap on the wall, so hopefully not too much damage to the 173, as we see it here on the replay.
So shouldn't do too much damage to that car and kept it going. So
yeah, I just sort of looking at that one, I just wonder if Matson just got a little bit wide and just caught the car behind a little bit by surprise by the speed loss, and it's so easy to have that happen. I mean, again, it's something that we've probably all felt if you've ever driven on a oval like this. It's sort of in racing, very easy to have a mistake like that, to catch somebody that's just had a little bit of a moment, and your closing speed is so quick in these cars. You just make that contact and there's not much you can do.
yeah, it looks like Perry Anastakis has moved up into second, so he's got that job done on Adam Malone now. So could be looking for a 1-2 finish tonight for Rogue Sim Sports.
Well, 131 of Mr. Steve Hoppett is down the lane at the moment, coming in for a stop. I believe it's maybe a scheduled stop. We'll see. Going up on the jacks, and hopefully we'll be back out on track to get a few more laps under his belt tonight. We'll see how that one unfolds. getting into that stage where the cars will be getting very light on fuel up at the front. Anastakis has done one of the longest stints out there at the moment with 48 laps coming around this time. So does Anastakis have enough gas in the tank to make it to the end of this race? What doesn't want to say is a green-white checker situation or anything like that.
Well, we did see them go 54 laps, I think. So I think that was the most. Maybe Mark Smith might have got another lap out of that. But they were looking at that 54 lap mark on fuel on the fumes. So might be a hard task for Perry Anastakis to keep that car on track without needing to stop again.
Well, only 7 and a bit laps for him to find out, Paul.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Malone's finding that as well. Maybe that's why he's just dropped back off a little bit and trying to save another lap or two of fuel. Use Parry as a bit of a fuel-saving strategy.
So, we've got a meatball out there for Nicholas Walsh in the 222. Again, not sure what that one is for. Looks like it's a tyre for sure, having to run up there. Right front, I'd say, by the looks of things. We'll see if we can actually work out exactly when that's happened.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm not blaming myself for the commentator's curse on that one. He had 100% on the tyres, so we'll put that one. Yeah. A lot of... Yep.
Going to be interesting to see if anybody else has any tyre issues out there, because it seems to be quite common tonight, and that could be a deciding factor in the race tonight. If one of these leaders, they're pushing it for a lot longer than some of the other drivers, they could find themselves in trouble for those tyres. Craig Roffey, he just set the fastest lap of the race a few laps ago, so it's definitely got some pace in that car still. Looks like fuel is pretty okay, so I've got to say, at the moment, Adam Malone looks like he's in just fuel conservation, just sitting behind Anastakis just to get that little bit of extra fuel mileage. So good call there, Paul. I think you were absolutely on the ball with that one.
Yeah, so Nicholas Walsh back out on track again. So just gone down that lap and into P11. So just out of the top 10. Chris Bleakley coming down pit lane as well. Maybe a little bit of fuel there. No black flag or meatball on his car. So might just be a splash and dash for him with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, another thing that can easily catch you out is sometimes you don't quite put enough fuel in there, or your crew chief doesn't quite put enough fuel in there for you as well, and that can be a common problem. The battle for second is heating up between Anastakis and Malone at the moment. Malone just having a few connection issues, but side by side at the moment with Anastakis, and they are racing to the flag now with just 2 and a bit laps to go. It looks like Malone saved enough fuel and is making the jump on Anastakis to move himself back up into P2.
Bit of a strategy there. So as we mentioned, bit of fuel saving. Looks like Parry's looking for that inside line again, trying to make a bit of a switch back. But, not sure if he'll get that job done now. Might just need to tuck in behind Adam for another lap or 2. Use that draft, make that move on the white flag.
Yeah, we'll be coming up very, very shortly. The leader will be seeing the white flag this time round, I believe. So it is very much getting to the tasty end of this race, and the flags are going to be coming out to determine who is going to take the victory for tonight, as the white flag is flown for Craig Roffey. He is looking pretty secure up there in first. The big question will be who comes home in second. Looking good for looking good for Adam Malone at the moment, as Perry Anastakis just can't quite close up to the back of the number 3 Southern Stars entry. But Craig Roffey up the front just has 1 more corner to go, and we'll be looking at that checkered flag.
He's got the headlights flashing. He knows he's on the top spot for race 2 at Nashville Super Speedway. So back-to-back wins for Craig Roffey. I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy tonight. Come home in first last week with a pole position start at Texas, and come home with another win tonight with a second place start. So we will we'll go through results first, and then we'll go to a quick ad break, and we'll get the drivers in for a chat. So we'll get some celebratory skids there from Craig Roffey as this race concludes. But as everyone comes in, so Craig Roffey, our round 2 winner at Nashville Speedway. Adam Malone coming home in second, and Perry Anastakis in third. Rick Vincent in fourth spot. Cade Donnelly rounding out your top 5. Gary Wellman in 6th. Mark Smith in 7th. Andy Barber in 8th. Blake Urquhart in 9th, with Chris Finlay rounding out your top 10.
As we roll over to 11th place, it's Nicholas Walsh coming home in 11th, with Shannon Wright P12, 13th for Tyler Stevens. Tony Roffey comes home 14th, 15th for Scotty McClintock. Peter Matson comes home 16th, 17th for Steve Hoppett, 18th for Chris Bleakley. Derek Jacobs comes home 19th, Troy Morrison down in 20th.
Roll over 21st, Todd Maxfield, and 22nd, Rick Sanchez. And there is one happy man, Craig Roffey. Back-to-back wins, 2 wins for 2 rounds.
And enough fuel and tyres left in there for some great burnouts as well.
He's on that limiter too, so could be an engine rebuild for them. But we'll go to an ad break. We'll get the drivers up into the booth, and we'll have a chat with them and see how their race went and get some feedback from them. But we'll be right back after this quick break.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Alrighty, we are back and we have our podium up in the booth. So, round 2, Nashville Super Speedway. We have our third place with Perry Anastakis. How are you going tonight?
I'm good, mate. Just on the podium.
Yeah, good to see you up in the booth. Looks like once again a 1-3 for Rogue Sim Sports tonight.
Yeah, I had a great battle with Adam there. I could have went for second, but I think I chewed my tyres. It was a really good battle though with Adam towards the end there.
Yeah, we did see that. We thought Adam might have been doing a little bit of a fuel save maybe towards the end. I'm not sure how tight on fuel you guys were. But yeah, just sort of having a bit of a tussle with you for that P2, P3.
I was good on fuel. I was just worried about getting a meatball flag for the tyres. I had to come in for tyres, so I was really trying to save my tyres for the last 10 laps. But Adam had some more, which is good to see.
Yeah, we did see quite a few guys getting meatballs tonight, so yeah, a bit savage on the tyres and the rubber through the race. But overall, you had a pretty good run, come home in P3 there. How'd the rest of your team go, like Rick Vincent and Tony Roffey and that?
Yeah, Rick had a bit of an incident, but came back through the field and finished 4th, I think. That's a really good effort. And Craig, I think, came first. I just guessed that. So, and Tony, I didn't see where Tony finished up, so maybe the boys can tell us. It was good effort. Good talk on the radio as well.
That's all good. Everyone in the booth having a bit of comms and that. So, yeah, no, it was a good race to watch and call tonight. Bit exciting with the new car and the strategy that's coming back into the races now. But yeah, we'll let you wrap up anyway. If you got any shout outs or sponsors you want to give a thanks to.
Thanks, Paul. First to you for the commentary. Thank you. And the team that put the events on. MD Sports, our sponsor. I think they're listening and watching tonight. My real life sponsors, Penrite Oils and also G-Lock Brakes. So, thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Perry, and well done on 3rd place. We'll move along to Adam Malone, coming home in 2nd place. How you going, Adam?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Late night, almost 10 o'clock, so we're getting there. We don't have the coffee going yet, but might not need it now. Good race for you tonight at Nashville. Last week you had a pretty good showing at Texas, but a little bit of contact with another driver, and that ruined your chances of a podium spot last week. But you found the podium tonight, so good job on that one.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, she was a bit of a workout tonight, but it's good to get on the podium.
Yeah, we usually see you sort of running around the front, and you obviously adapted to these new cars as well quite well. What did you find the biggest change was between the last gen and the Gen 3?
It's definitely the tyre wear on this and the handling. It's like I said, it is a bit of a challenge. It's going to take a bit to get used to. I'm sure all the other guys would say the same thing, but yeah, it won't take long.
Well, I know there's a driver that loves tyre races, and I'm trying to recruit him into the series. So we'll see if I can get him in there. But yeah, obviously we saw, as again, a few black flags and meatballs and stuff tonight. So obviously the concrete track of Nashville need to look after those tyres. But yeah, how'd your teammate Andy Barber go?
I'm not sure where he came actually. He did get a meatball in that first stint, I think he did. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he came in the top 10. I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look at that. But 8th, there you go. So yeah.
Yeah, we saw him running around the top 5 at the early start of that race. So still inside the top 10. So good to see. But good to see a couple of more drivers out there. I don't know if old D-Mac's going to come back for a run or not. I haven't seen him for a while, but be good to see him out on the track as well with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with D-Mac. I think he's got work or something going on, but yeah, we're trying to get a hold of Tommy as well to get in the car and join us around the track, but can't get a hold of him. So yeah, no, it's a busy life, I would say.
Yeah, that's it with life. It gets in the way sometimes of our hobbies, but if we could only spend the time on our hobbies, nothing else would get done. So
that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But no, good job tonight and coming home in P2, and we'll let you give a shout out to any sponsors or anyone at home.
Yeah, I'll put a big shout out to you guys putting the broadcast on, and Steve for putting the series on again. Big shout out to Craig for taking the win, and Parry, good battle there at the end, mate. Give a shout out to Mishy's XL Garage, 7-Eleven, RBI Trading Cards, and the Southern Stars Esports team.
All right, there we go. Big shout outs to everyone there. And thanks, Adam, and good job on P2. But the moment we've been waiting for is our race winner, and that would be Craig Roffey coming home, P1.
Hey, fellas. Good to be back in the booth.
Yeah, once again, back in the booth and in the top spot. So 2 from 2 now, Craig. What's the secret?
Not good. I think just a bit of practice. I put in, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes before the race, and yeah, come out with the goods.
So a bit of pre-race race, is it?
Yeah, well, it's a different car, so you gotta get used to it, and it's obviously paying off. So yeah.
Did you do much through the week as well, or just before the race?
Nah, just before the race. I don't do any testing. Just before the race, jump on and have some me time and do some V8s.
Yeah, get a bit of a feel and warm up, and yeah, good to go. So obviously that helps quite well, and that's why you're 2 from 2 now. Good to see, and obviously the team having some pretty good results as well. You got Parry and Starks up on the podium with you tonight, so and Rick Vincent just there as well. So the team's having a pretty good showing as well.
Yeah, pretty good so far. That's 2 from 2 for 1 and 3, and then Rick in 4th and the old man in, I think, 14th or 15th or something. So I might have to give him a bit of hand and some tips. But these cars they're pretty hard. They're brutal on tyres. You just got to manage them.
Yeah, and we heard that a bit tonight and saw that a bit tonight as well. So hopefully next week it won't be as bad, but we'll have to find out when we get there.
Well, next week I think it's really bumpy. I'm not too sure, and I think it's going to kill the tyres again.
So I think we heard we're going to Atlanta, but the Legacy track. So if you've already got that knowledge there, then guess guys might have to get a bit of a feel for the car if it's going to be bouncing around a bit, and
Yeah, I think
just
it will.
see how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah, no, let's we'll see when we get there. But tonight, Nashville Super Speedway coming home in first. So we'll give you a moment to have a shout out and any sponsors or anything. You had a few fans in the channel tonight as well.
Cool. Good to hear. Yeah, just my number one supporters, the missus and the young fellow who's watching. He's listening right now. I know he's gonna have a big smile on his face. So, hey Bo, how you doing? Another big shout out to MD Sports. I believe they're in town in Adelaide. They're actually at the old man's house. So the owner of MD Sports was sitting over the old man's shoulder watching. Big shout out to Jacko, Elite Repairs. Good to have them with us. You guys in the broadcast do an awesome job. I'll watch this race tomorrow at work. And Steve for putting on the series and getting good turnout as well. So it's good.
Thank you, and big shout out. We'll mention to Aaron Dillon jumping in the booth for a moment as well. Once he gets set up, we'll have him in here a bit more, and also Carl Withy joining us on the mic tonight for a bit of a shout out too. So we'll get those done, and that was our top 3 for Nashville Super Speedway tonight. So we'll hand over. Oh no, I think he's gone. So I was going to hand over to Steve Hoppett there, but we'll run through. So if you want to get any more info on the series there, you can check out the OzOval Wix site or have a look at the Facebook page for OzOvals. Anyone tuning in that wants to become a sponsor of the league, just send an email through to Quasi Esports there, send Steve a message and have a bit of a chat, and we can go from there, becoming a sponsor. If you want to be a driver for the series, you want to have a go, get behind the wheel, you can look up the league there, league ID 10491. So come out, have a go, join the boys on track. But that is round 2 done and dusted for another week. So round 2 of Nashville Super Speedway, brought to you by Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated. Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports was the broadcast. Myself, Paul Jackson, on the mic with our guests of Aaron Dillon, Carl Withy, and Kobe Jordan, our man behind the cameras, bringing you all the action. So tune in next week at Atlanta Speedway, and we'll catch you then.